What is your job and what does your day in the life look like? I service swimming pools in Florida. I do 20 a day. 100 a week. I balance chemicals and make these pools pretty for my homeowners. Even after 20 years at the same company, I still love my job. Not to be crude, just curious, don't you find your job repetitive? How do you still stay on the same job and love it? Sorry if I sound condescending, but I'm actually in awe. I'm afraid that I won't love my career in the long run someday. I'm an archaeologist. A lot of archaeologists like me work in the construction industry, rather than for a university or a museum. Basically, anytime someone wants to build something, the land has to get surveyed for anything that could be archaeologically significant. My company gets hired to survey the site. If we find stuff, we often get hired to dig it up. Most days are spent walking through woods and farmer fields. We check for evidence of sites, dig small test pits and make lots of maps. Sometimes we find a cool site and get to spend a few weeks fully excavating it. I want this job. What education do I need for it? Literally sounds amazing. I distribute and translate board games. It's about as exciting as you'd expect. Those of us in the hobby appreciate your work. Thank you for your service. I'm a night watchman at a museum. I patrol the galleries after hours, and in my downtown I'm free to do as I like. A great position, as I like to bring work in to do and my days are free. I can watch TV, I can work on my own art practice. The rare bad day is dealing with monitoring system failure or a facility issue, a busted HVAC or blown pipes. It's a very chill job with a lot of agency, so long as you don't violate the high level of trust and don't mind the hours. How many times a week do the exhibits come to life? Something Ben Stiller. I'm an armed security guard for a nightclub. I get paid by shift, but if you do the math, I make about $35 an hour. I get to work at 9 p.m. and usually leave around 4 a.m. I spend 92% of my nights checking IDs, playing on my phone and searching people for weapons. 8% of my nights breaking up fights or arguments. But I spend 100% of my nights hoping I don't get jumped, hit with a glass bottle, or shot. Have you ever been jumped, hit with a glass bottle, or shot? Where are you that a nightclub is open? I work at a CVS pharmacy. It's the worst existence I can think of. Verbal abuse all day, every day. The drive didn't send in your script. My fault. Insurance won't pay for 4 tramadol tablet per day. My fault. Copay too high? Oh geez, sorry, I'll just adjust your insurance formulary for you because I work for your insurance, right? Not to mention the stress of trying to fill 10 scripts in the next 5 minutes while also answering non-stop phone calls only to have someone blow up at you because they had to wait 5 fucking minutes. It makes me want to kill myself. For real. I worked at CVS for 3 years, only 3 months as a tech. I couldn't begin to handle it. Everything you said is spot on. CVS is hell. As a pharmacist, I feel you. That is why I quit. I have never met a happy pharmacist or pharmacy tech. I'm an undertaker, and depending on the day, I bring deceased into my care from hospital mortuaries, or sometimes during the day I will get called out to a private address or care home/hospice. Majority of most days I will be out on funerals, driving the hearse/limousine and bearing the coffin into the crematorium or lowering into a grave. I will prepare and dress the deceased ready for funerals and viewings. I will also line and fit coffins and engrave nameplates among general cleaning of the funeral home and vehicles. It can be pretty full on physically as well as emotionally, but I really appreciate my job and the comfort I can help bring to some families. I always imagine this as one of the toughest jobs around. Thank you for what you do. Hi, I'm a hospital transporter and I take deceased patients to our morgue, where you pick them up. I work at Subway. I normally go in early as hell so I have time to cry in the cooler for a minute. Former Subway worker. This is so accurate. I work in a group home for the developmentally disabled. My day can have several different ways it can go, but it's usually just hanging out in a nice house helping out some peeps who have trouble with everyday tasks. Some days I'm a nurse, others a personal chef, a handyman, chauffeur. You name it. Same, and I love it. I work 24 hours shifts which involve sleeping in the house. I usually get woken up at 5 AM by a guy singing hallelujah at the top of his lungs. By 7 he's excitedly telling me that the sun is coming out like it's the first time he's ever seen it. He's in his 70s. Someone might throw a mug at me, but every bit of challenging behavior is worth it for the times I make them smile or laugh or push themselves to do something new. The downside is about half my day is taken up with paperwork or talking on the phone to various professionals trying to get them better support. I'm on the same field and this is very accurate. I'm a zookeeper. I love it, but for the most part it's pretty unglamorous. I spend 10% of my time talking to the public, 10% of my time playing with animals, 20% doing paperwork, and the other 60% is preparing food or shoveling various forms of poop. And depending on the species, the poop can be easily 1,000 times worse than dog or cow poop. I type this comment as I'm just getting home from a day of cleaning the otter enclosure, and my husband still won't enter the room with me even after a shower. I work at Costco. My average day is similar to this. I love otters, but an animal that has a high protein, low fiber, high fat, oily fish diet can't have great poops. I work in horse breeding, and it is horrible. I lost my job as a waitress during the pandemic and was looking for work, and thought, hey, I rode horses for a while in high school, let's apply for this. And the salary was better than a waitress. But the work is just plain gross. Spending all day around stinky, horny as fuck stallions who want to fuck anything that moves, particularly if it smells like a mare. Cleaning smegma out of horse penises, no fun. I'm not sure how I'm still here, except the money's good. Cleaning smegma out of horse penises, you've introduced me to a whole new world of nasty. I wish I could unread this. Spending all day around stinky, horny as fuck stallions who want to fuck anything that moves sounds like you're in my high school. I work books in a thrift store. My day is like Christmas morning and a round of Russian roulette all at once, since I never know what's going to be inside a box. 200 Harlequin romance novels, hardcover hand-painted books from the 1700s, a newspaper from the day Kennedy was shot, human teeth, grandma's bank paranoia cash stash, literal cat shit, porn max, who knows, not me. That sounds fun and terrifying at once. I think I would love your work. With the exception of the cat poop, of course. I'm 16 years old and live in Mexico. I have 2 jobs, plus school, so I'll describe both of them. The first is in the fields. I work in multi-lime fields, so I'll talk about that. So I wake up at 5 AM to get ready, take a shower, eat breakfast, etc. Then I go to the owner of the field's house where everyone who's going to work that day meets up. We arrange transportation and off we go. We just hop on the back of like 2 trucks. When we arrive, we grab a crate and start cutting. They pay you by crate, so the more you do the better. Around 1 PM we start heading back. We take the lime crates to the factory where they ship them around the world. You might have a lime I cut in your house, chances are really small. I get paid, go home and off to my second job. This is on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. My second job is at my dad's convenience store, so why bother explaining? But it takes a lot of patience to deal with shitty customers after a long day in the sun, so I'm always in a bad mood, lol. Sadly this is everyday frown. Sounds like you do a lot. When do you have time for school? Thanks for sharing a different non-US perspective. Not sure which part of Mexico, but your English seems good enough to get a higher paying job using it. I work in a central kitchen for Meals on Wheels, and we provide anywhere from 400 to 600 meals a day for our county. There are only 4 of us that make the food, and 1 person is in charge of dessert and only works 16 hours a week. We start our day at 4:30 and the meals go out at 10. We rely on volunteers for help serving and delivery. I think our volunteer count was around 200 last I heard. Most of them are retired or people taking time during their lunch break to deliver 10 to 12 meals for their route. All the food is made from scratch, and we run our operation out of an old nursing home kitchen. Our equipment is old and a little run down, but we make it work. I drove a route once every month for 5 years. It's amazing how attached you get to your people. I had to stop when I made a job change, but still think of those lovely people often, and truly admire what you are doing to make sure people who need it get food. This made me emotional. I want to do more to contribute. We have a Meals on Wheels in my town. I think I need to volunteer or donate. Thanks for sharing this. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.